What is going on, guys? Welcome to your 17th Ruby tutorial, and I want to start out this tutorial by talking to you about something called loops. Now, a loop is pretty much code that runs multiple times automatically. So let me go ahead and show you guys an example, and then I'll talk you guys through it. Go ahead and write 8 dot times do puts, and I'll just write like bacon or something, end. Now, what this does whenever we hit enter is it prints out the word bacon 8 different times. Now let me go ahead and talk to you guys about this command. First of all, times is basically a method that runs code a certain number of times. So this is a method that's getting run on the 8 right here. Now, again, as you can see, a loop basically puts bacon 8 different times. So it basically run this code 8 times. So in order to make a loop, and there are a lot of different kinds of loops, but this is the most simple one. You go ahead and write a number with times, and then whatever code you want to repeat, you put it between the keyword do and end. So what do we want to do 8 times? Well, we just want to print out the word bacon on the screen. And if a lot of people they have trouble understanding that the code that you want to run has to go in between the do and the end keyword because there's just too many keywords. So there is an alternative syntax, and that's instead of the do and the end keyword, you can just use curly braces instead and put the code inside. So you can have something like this: 4 times, and there isn't any do or end keyword. Just go ahead and write the code that you want to repeat in between curly braces. And I know those curly braces look kind of weird, but it's the key to the right of the P on your keyboard. If you hold shift, you see those little curly braces above the square brackets? Those ones, even though these ones kind of look like backwards C's or whatnot. So let's just go ahead and print out the word pudding hammock, spelled incorrectly. Pudding hamcock. That's classy. So now we go ahead and hit enter and check it out. The word pudding hamcock prints out 4 times right on the screen. So, like I said, this is pretty much the most simple type of loop, but there are alternative types of loop. So let me go ahead and show you guys another one. One of the types of loop, instead of just writing how many times you want to print something out, you give it 2 numbers. The first number is where you want to start counting, and the second number is it pretty much counts to that number. So I'll show you guys an example like 3 up to, and let me just give it another number. Now for these, the parameters that we have to use have to go in between just regular parentheses. So let's just count from 3 up to 7, and what do we want to do? Let's just go ahead and put something stupid. Count from 3 to 7. Now go ahead and hit enter and check out what happens. This code is going to run 5 times. Why does it run 5 times? Well, what it's going to do is it's going to start with 3 and it's going to count all the way up to 7. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 5 different times. So again, instead of just giving it a single number and say run this code that many of times, you can give it 2 numbers and it's going to pretty much count 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and when it gets to the end, it's going to stop running the code. Now, alternatively, you also have kind of the opposite of this, up to and down to. So you can count from like 15 down to 12 or something. And whenever you do this, it's going to run the code from 15, 14, 13, 12. So let's go ahead and see what happens. So puts, move my mouse, puts, and what do we want to write this time? This one counts down. And I have one extra. Okay, Bucky, come on. Focus here. I hate this little cursor. I just wish it was a line. But anyways, go ahead and hit enter and check it out. 15, 14, 13, 10. So pretty much it starts at 15 and counts down to 12. Therefore, it loops the code 4 different times. Now, the last loop that I want to talk to you guys about in this tutorial is the step loop. Now, what the step loop does is it starts at a number and it counts to a bigger number, let's say, but it steps not in increments of 1. It gives it alternative increments, and instead of me trying to explain it, I'll just go ahead and show you guys an example. So 0, step, And in here, you give it two parameters. Let's say 15 and 5. So now what we're going to do is just print out on the screen 0 to 15 by 5s. So let's go ahead and hit enter and check it out. It loops 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Why does this happen? Well, what it does is you pretty much give it two values. The 0 is your starting point, the 15 is your ending point, but instead of looping 15 times, we say, hey, don't count by 1s anymore, count by 5s. So the values that got inputted whenever we looped were 0, 5, 10, and 15. So like I said, instead of pretty much looping by 1, we can loop by different values using this step loop. So again, those are different type of loops. Probably the easiest one is just this times one where you say, okay, loop this amount of times. But there are alternative ones, and again, I'm going to show you why a loop is useful in the upcoming tutorials, and I'm also going to show you guys how to extract the value from that loop in the next tutorial. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.